From east to west, from one region to another, this is Canada in View.
Our program deals with creative drama for seniors, a project of the Northwood Multipurpose Center, a seniors-oriented complex in Halifax.
I may be too old to run a mile.
Run a mile?
Yes, run a mile. But there's one thing I still do very well. I may be too old to climb a stile.
Climb a stile?
Yes, climb a stile. But there's one thing at which I still excel. Although my hair is turning gray.
Yes, it's rather gray.
I still believe it when I say...
Well, what do you say?
It's never too late to have a fling. Autumn is just as nice as spring, and it's never too late to fall in love.
Okay, I hate to interrupt you when you're concentrating on the songs, but you've got the melody, you've got the volume, you've got the whole song, but all the songs we've chosen basically are about aging in one form or another, and they're very tongue-in-cheek. They're not, I'm sitting here waiting to die rag or whatever. They are, well, maybe they are, you could do it ragtime. But they're very, very, very tongue-in-cheek, and I think you got to look like you're really enjoying the material when you do it, because otherwise, if you're not enjoying it, and if you're not putting it across to the audience out there that we're breaking every preconceived idea you have about aging, right? If they don't get that point, then it just won't work. It'll just look like we're singing songs. But we are singing songs, and we're singing songs about aging, but the songs are happy, and the mood is right, but they also tell a distinct message. What you see up here is not what people think retired people can do or sing.
Northwood Drama was founded roughly 7 years ago under a grant from the Department of Health and Welfare, and it was founded so that seniors could take an active part in the artistic part of theater, both as a therapy and as relaxation and enjoyment. We have done such shows as The Wizard of Oz, we have done 70 Girls 70, and most recently we did a production of Heidi. What happens when I choose the shows for the seniors is that I look for a musical as opposed to a straight play, as to a drama, because the musicals contain X amount of minutes of music, and it is easier for the seniors to memorize the words to songs because of the melody and the musical accompaniment which pushes that along, as opposed to 2.5 hours of solid drama. I treat my drama sort of as therapy on one hand, and sort of as relaxation and extracurricular activity on the other. The therapeutic end of it stems from the fact that preschools, primary schools, secondary schools develop physical coordination in children. They develop memory skills. They develop artistic abilities. I use drama as a means of prolonging that in the senior and frail age groups.
Okay, Edith, you're going over there. Art, you're going over there. No, stay where you are back there.
When you take a gander at the news, when you hear the language people use, when no sweet songs are sung, I don't want to be young.
They were going to have an Air Force show, a Navy show, and an Army show. And so this lieutenant was traveling all around Canada looking for girls for the chorus, for the lineup. They wanted girls with nice high kicks for the chorus numbers and that. So she came to Halifax and she had Hugh Mills have some of the girls down there in audition for her. And of course she picked this other girl and I from Halifax. And we both went to Toronto and auditioned for the show. And of course we had to join the Army first. We couldn't get in it unless we joined the Army. If we didn't make the show, we would have had to have another position in the Army, maybe a photographer, a cook or something, I don't know. The big show was a big musical show. There was 35 in the band, and it was a ballet number, and there was, all big musical productions in that show. And Johnny Wayne and Frank Schuster, they wrote all the numbers for the show, and they also performed in skits in the show. Well, when we were up in Toronto, we used to do radio shows Sunday night, and we were the usherettes. The girls, like, of course, were the usherettes. Of course, the stars of the show, they put on, like, the shows, like, on the radio. And Jack Benny was there one time performing. And Kate Smith was on one of our shows. And Mackenzie King, he was there. We were all introduced to Mackenzie King. And we had to, each one had to say their name, where they were from. Of course, me, getting so excited. My name was Gallant at the time. And I said, Private Halifax from Gallant.
One thing I thought I would never do is try to sing. But when we were doing The Wizard of Oz, I was the lion, and I had to sing this little thing. And I wouldn't take the part because I couldn't sing. But they had an audition, and they lined us all up, and we all sang it. So I got the part. Not because of my good singing. I think because I was the only male in the thing. I had the derby hat and a wig. I made a little cane. I just done that for a joke one show. I got in the back room dressed up like Charlie Chaplin. I walked out and Tony said, "Oh, we got to put that in the show. That's good." So that's how that originated.
Jane when we were kids, and she used to get all the kids in the neighborhood up in the mother's house, and Jane used to play the I think it was the mandolin at that time, and we'd get there and we'd sing and we'd dance, try to toe dance with nothing, no toe dancing shoes, and we'd tap dance. I had one Baptist leg, it wouldn't go.
I'd like to explain something. In show business, this is what's known as the crossover. It's time allowed for people in the cast to make a costume change. But in a company like ours, where everyone is so, old, we need a little more time to catch our breath. So we're going to sing this little song. It's sort of what tonight is all about.
Oh, visit your grandmother. Oh, tell your granny that you care.
Don't you know how glad I would be to look up and see you standing there?
Only when I was young, I was going to run away from home. a show that was here in Halifax, a Jimmy Evans show. But he turned us down. We were too young. There was 3 of us. We actually went down for an audition, and one of the girls looked too young, really too young. And he said, "Oh, I don't believe you're 16 years old." He said, "I don't think." He said, "I'll tell you what I'll do." He said, "We're not leaving till tomorrow. You go home and get permission of your parents and bring me back a written permission from your parents, and then we'll give you an audition and see if we can take you with us." So we never did. We never did get back. About 8 years since they first started the drama in here. That would make me, what, 72? No, 73. I was 73. I like to sing, but I like the drama, too. I like drama. I'm very easy to learn lines. I find it easy to learn lines. And I find it very easy to recite, like to memorize anything to recite. Last Christmas now for another concert we had, our choir, it was our choir party. I memorized a poem that had 16 double verses in it. 8 lines in each verse. I think I'm a bit more outgoing, than I was before. Very shy, very nervous and very shy when I first started. I think I've been helped by being into it.
Retirement's a nasty word, and some people, I think, view it as the measuring stick of their declining abilities. First, they lose their job. Then, if they have to come into a complex such as Northwood, which is, a senior-orientated complex, they lose some of their independence because they're into a double room or in a room with a stranger, or they have to do activities when the program department schedules activities. Then they may lose a spouse. Then, for some reason, disease or whatever, they may lose a limb. So retirement is sort of the beginning of that loss period. And I have seen people who've enjoyed creative drama change over the actual period from the beginning of the show to the performance. People who may have lost a spouse in that grieving period, they don't physically take care of themselves, their hair is untidy, whatever. By the end of the performance, they're back into the social part of it. They're dressing for rehearsals. They're dressing for the performance. It stays with them afterwards. People who are not very active, they want to remain in the room after the loss of spouse, or they come into a complex and they say, "I'm not going to join anything. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to wait to die," which, unfortunately is the case in some people in the institutions across the country. Drama changes that because it makes them feel that they can contribute. They can feel through the applause of the audience on opening night that they've done something worthwhile, that their abilities have been recognized, their skills have been recognized, and they have a place to show off those skills. It's not 65 door closed, you can't paint anymore, you can't sing anymore, you can't dance anymore. We have a program here that gives them the opportunity to do that. They're out there in the audience one night, and they're 65 years old, and they're saying to themselves, "Oh, I could never sing, I could never dance, but I'll go watch someone else." And then when they find out that the oldest munchkin in The Wizard of Oz is 84 years old, they realize, I want to do that. I can enjoy doing that, and I'm going to join. Although the core of the group is 32, we do involve community programs and other programs within the Northwood complex. For instance, in our last production of Heidi, although there were 32, 35 people on the stage, there were roughly 85 to 100 seniors involved in the production. We had the adult day program here, make fabric leaves for the trees in the Swiss Alps. We had the Northwood ceramic program, make all the bric-a-brac. We had a number called antiques. Well, instead of going out and collecting antiques from the community, we made our own. So that's another part of the therapeutic approach. But it's also a part of getting all those seniors involved for one common cause. As a director and having to have some type of control over where the production is going, I will usually pick the theme, and I will pick the colors for the backdrop, but they will design the sets, and they will go from there. I will use a senior design set which is functional and attractive, as opposed to a friend's design set, which is superior, but it doesn't reflect what the seniors do. So I will go with the senior design set, and it always works out perfectly.
The practices, I was nervous, because I didn't think really I had the ability to do the job, really. Because prior to that, we'll go back, I'd done The Wizard of Oz and another production called 70 Girls 70. And then when they came out where we were bringing people in off the street and advertising for parts. And then our director, John, said, well, why don't you apply for the part for Grandfather? I think you could do it. I think when I came up, there was two other persons besides myself. And it was an easy competition because the next week they didn't show. So I had the part. We worked with younger people, and their memories are real keen, you know. It may take about 3 or 4 hours for them to study the whole script. It takes us 3 or 4 weeks to do the script. You've got to be as good as them. It's not the old teaching the young, but the young showing the old the way, really. Well, the old type songs, I like romantic songs, you know, and but I do, you know, a lot of country rock. I do a lot of polking at dances, and I'm a fair dancer, I should say.
I'll never love anyone the way I love you. How could I? When I was born to be just yours, still the stars and no glory.
When it comes to the skits, they're always handing me little scripts. Can we do this one? Can we do that one? And in the case of Two Ladies, which I think this is what creative drama for seniors is all about, they put together their own show of sitting in rockers as elderly ladies, 82 and 84, reminiscing about their youth. And they found their own little poem that they wanted to include. They found their own guidelines and their marking points. We want to talk about this, 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 and this. But it was not a rehearsed script. They went out there in performance, they sat down, and they just talked.
Yeah, well, you didn't have any toilet inside then, any inside facilities then either, did you?
We didn't need any inside. We had a nice two-seater out on the back of the lot. And I'm telling you, when I say nice, I mean nice. It was nice. Some of the neighbors, theirs was whitewashed inside or papered with newspaper, but ours wasn't. It had good wallpaper on it. The seats were all painted nice.
Those big sample books.
Well, I don't know if sample books or what, but it was wallpaper anyway. And the seat was all painted nice, and there was a glass on the door with a curtain on it.
Oh, my goodness. I suppose nobody could see in, but you could see out.
Well, that's the idea, I guess.
Yeah. I bet you took a peek now and again.
But there was always a kitchen, everything. Did you ever go to one of those places about 6 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the winter and the snow up to your neck?
No.
Well, there was always one or two things you'd find. Now, either that door was snowed shut and you couldn't get in, or else it had blown open and the place was full and you couldn't get in.
When you see the shape the world is in, when the way it is ain't what it's been, when folks just care for gold, thank God I'm old.
When we look at our shows, we aim our shows for the senior audience, but it crosses over to all generations. If we did Heidi or we do Hans Christian Andersen or anything like that, we have the seniors who come to watch the seniors, but we have the children who come to watch their grandparents or their great-grandparents in some cases, and we do the child-orientated shows so that we are getting all the age groups.
Is indeed real. Isn't it weird? Losing my timing this late in my career. But where are the clouds? There ought to be found. Well,
I would like to be associated with a professional theater company. Most theater companies across Canada have a young person's company. I think we should have a senior company. And I view that as just a completion of the educational cycle. We teach people theater or any discipline in their young years to continue through life so that they can, make a living at it, whatever. I'd like to see that carried on past the age of mandatory retirement. These are a great group of people. They have a lot of talent. They have a lot of ambition. They want to perform their solos just like anybody in any age group would. I'm so very pleased to know that when I retire, that I'm no longer confined to the bingo playing, bridge playing. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying that as this generation or my generation ages, the activities are going to change. And I'm glad to know that that type of activity is there for me when I need it.
Someday, when I'm a little bit older, it's conceivable I may be that way too. Old folks stretch a lot, though it doesn't mean a thing. Yawn and stretch a lot, sewing on an inner string. Off and catch a lot, sighing on perpetual sigh.
When you see the shape the world is in, when the way it is ain't what it's been,